Is Disney ruining Marvel and Star Wars? A bold question that demands an answer. You might be wondering, how could Disney, the box office titan and content behemoth, possibly be ruining these beloved franchises? Now let's clarify something right off the bat. This discussion isn't about wokeness or diversity in these universes. No, it's about something we might overlook: the sheer quantity of content and its interconnectedness. Marvel and Star Wars have been dominating charts and lists, and they're certainly not hurting. But could it be that this very success is their downfall? Is the constant stream of new content and the demand to keep up with it all dampening our enthusiasm for these once cherished stories? I believe so. So let's delve into the crux of the matter: the overproduction of content. It's a bold claim indeed, but stick with me as we explore the potential consequences of Disney's strategy for Marvel and Star Wars. The Marvel Cinematic Universe was a game changer in the film industry. When it first sprang to life in the late 2000s, early 2010s, it was a breath of fresh air, a novel concept. It was crafting a shared universe where several distinct movies could converge and build up to epic ensemble films. While we had series and trilogies before, they primarily followed a single character through sequels, prequels, and maybe a spin-off here or there. Marvel's approach was different. It was adventurous, it was ambitious, and it worked. It worked spectacularly well. Audiences around the world fell in love with the interwoven narratives, the intricate world building, the thrill of seeing their favorite heroes team up on the big screen. The Marvel Cinematic Universe wasn't just a success, it was a phenomenon. But as with any successful venture, it inevitably caught the eye of others. Other studios saw the goldmine that Marvel had tapped into and wanted a piece of the action. The result? An influx of shared universe models, each trying to replicate the magic formula that had worked so well for Marvel. Yet, it's important to remember that part of Marvel's initial success was its novelty. It was something new, something different. Now, with so many shared universes vying for our attention, that novelty is wearing thin. We're seeing a saturation of content that mirrors Marvel's model, and it's leading to a sense of déjà vu. It's like we've seen this movie before, literally and figuratively. This has led to an interesting situation. Marvel's success has not only spawned a multitude of imitators, but has also put Marvel in a position where it has to constantly outdo itself, producing more and more content at a rapid pace. The question that emerges is, can there be too much of a good thing? Can the constant influx of interconnected stories, the endless stream of new characters and plot lines, eventually lead to a sense of exhaustion among audiences? It's a question worth pondering as we continue to navigate the ever-evolving landscape of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and its many offshoots. Imagine having your favorite meal every single day. At first it's great, but eventually, you're going to get sick of it. This analogy perfectly encapsulates the concept of consumer burnout, a phenomenon that's becoming increasingly prevalent in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Let's take a trip down memory lane. I was on board the Marvel train right up until Avengers Endgame. I even found myself enamored by the unique storytelling of WandaVision. However, Disney, in their infinite wisdom, decided to turbocharge the Marvel content production. And boy, did they deliver. Post-Endgame, and within the span of 2 short years, we were bombarded with 7 MCU films and around 10 series. That's a staggering amount of content to consume. It's like being served a 5-course meal, only to be handed another one the moment you're done with the first. After WandaVision, I found myself teetering on the edge of Marvel fatigue. The excitement that once bubbled within me at the mention of new releases was replaced with a sense of overwhelming dread. The only parts of Phase 4 that I managed to watch were Black Widow, 1 episode of What If, and Spider-Man: No Way Home. Spider-Man: No Way Home was the first Marvel project that sparked a glimmer of excitement in me after a long while. Yet, I left the theater feeling underwhelmed. It was a decent movie with its moments, but it didn't live up to the hype for me. This experience solidified my belief that Marvel has a problem. The problem of consumer burnout. The constant influx of interconnected content creates a massive barrier to entry. If you haven't been keeping up since 2009, you're bound to feel lost. This fear of missing out, or FOMO, is a tool Marvel has cleverly used to keep its audience hooked. But it's a double-edged sword. The more content they churn out, the more people are likely to stop caring and consuming. I've found myself in this latter category, and I'm certain I'm not the only one. The Marvel Universe, once a source of joy and anticipation, is now a daunting maze of content. This leads us to the real issue, the problem of overconnectivity. In the Marvel Universe, everything is connected, but what if you missed a link? Imagine trying to jump into a riveting novel, but starting at chapter 20. It's a disorienting experience, isn't it? That's the predicament many new or casual viewers face when trying to get into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. With over 20 films and a slew of TV series, the MCU is a vast, interconnected web of narratives. Each plotline, character arc, and even post-credit scene is a piece of a much larger puzzle. While this level of connectivity is a fan's dream, it creates a daunting barrier for the uninitiated. Consider this. If you haven't been faithfully following the MCU since its inception in the late 2000s, you might feel a bit lost. Each new release is a continuation of a story thread introduced in a previous film or series, and the constant cross-referencing can be overwhelming for newcomers. This overconnectivity effectively turns the MCU into an exclusive club where only the most dedicated fans can fully appreciate the intricacies of the storytelling. But there's another side to this coin. The MCU's interconnected nature has also given birth to a culture of FOMO, the fear of missing out. Fans feel compelled to watch every single piece of content, fearing they might miss out on crucial plot developments or Easter eggs. This could be a marketing masterstroke, driving viewers to consume every new release. But in reality, it's a double-edged sword. The pressure to keep up can also lead to burnout, as we discussed in the previous section. What's more, this FOMO culture alienates casual viewers who simply can't dedicate the time or energy to keep up with the MCU's relentless output. And as the MCU continues to expand, this issue is likely to compound, potentially pushing away even more viewers. So, while the MCU's extensive interconnected universe is undeniably impressive, it's worth considering whether this complexity is becoming a hindrance rather than a strength. Let's now turn to another beloved franchise facing similar issues, Star Wars. From one galaxy to another, we find similar patterns emerging in Star Wars under Disney's reign. Much like Marvel, Star Wars has seen a rapid influx of content under the Disney umbrella. The once sporadic release of trilogies has been replaced by a flurry of films, TV series, and spin-offs, all in a relatively short period. Remember when we had to wait 3 years between Star Wars episodes? That anticipation, the build-up, the fan theories, and the excitement of finally sitting in the theater, ready to be transported to a galaxy far, far away. But now it's a different story. It seems like every time we blink, there's a new Star Wars project ready to roll out. The Mandalorian, Rogue One, Solo, The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, and not to mention the upcoming Obi-Wan Kenobi series. It's a lot, right? It's as if the Star Wars universe has been put on hyperdrive. But just like Marvel, this rapid-fire release of content risks leading to an overwhelming sense of consumer burnout. Then, there's the issue of overconnectivity. The Star Wars franchise has always been interconnected, but Disney has turned this up a notch. Characters from the original trilogy, the prequels, the sequels, and the standalone movies all interact across various platforms. While this can be exciting for die-hard fans, it can also be daunting for casual viewers or newcomers to the franchise. You see, the Star Wars universe, much like Marvel, has become a labyrinth of storylines and character arcs. If you miss one movie, one episode, or one spin-off, you might feel lost in the grander narrative. This fear of missing out, this need to keep up with every piece of content can be overwhelming and may deter potential viewers. So, are these beloved universes actually being ruined, or is it just a sign of changing times? It's a question that sparks debates and divides fans. But one thing is clear, the landscapes of Marvel and Star Wars are changing, and it's up to us, the audience, to navigate these evolving galaxies. We've traveled through the Marvel and Star Wars universes, and now it's time to answer our initial question. Is Disney ruining these beloved franchises? We've discussed the unprecedented success of Marvel, and how its pioneering shared universe model has led to a proliferation of content. But this abundance, while initially exciting, has resulted in consumer burnout for some fans. The sheer volume of interconnected films and series can be overwhelming, creating a high barrier to entry for newcomers and exhausting even the most dedicated fans. The same pattern is emerging in the Star Wars universe as Disney seeks to replicate Marvel's success. The end result? A landscape that looks markedly different from what fans initially fell in love with. The final verdict remains subjective. However, it's undeniable that the landscape of these franchises has significantly changed under Disney's stewardship.